Yankees Files podcast. We are back. I'm Will Harris, your Steve Lombardozzi the Elder.
That's a rehash.
Yeah, but I forgot to pull up the spreadsheet of all the Steves, so sorry.
Yeah. I'm impressed there is a spreadsheet. That's awesome.
But I did the younger last week, right?
Yeah, but
okay,
I mean,
so it's only right that I would do the Lombardozzis back to back, the Steves Lombardozzi back to back.
I mean, I guess you got a lot of these, so yeah, you gotta. I just thought you would have had some more clever ones up front, you know. But yeah, hey, that's
there are fewer
just
Steves than I hoped for, frankly.
Oh,
Steve.
there are plenty of Steves.
But when you start off with Steve Carsey, you've set the bar
that's
so
a high
high.
bar. That's a high bar.
And it's really tough to anyway.
That was a good immaculate grid score on that first one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Hey, anyway, the rest of you are fans of the first place, the undefeated, the home run hitting, torpedo bat using, league angering New York Yankees. Steve, we have a ton to get into on this episode, including going to bat for the bats. But prior to all of that, after this 3-0 start, this terrific opening series, how are you doing?
I mean, you can't be doing too much better in Yankees verse anyway. I mean, that couldn't have gone better. I mean, almost every narrative, everything we were looking out for, all the positive signs we were talking about in spring, almost like everything bore itself out during these first 3 games. It's just 3 games. I would be saying it's just 3 games if they had lost the first 3 games. So I'm going to be saying it, even though they won, and they won in a very convincing fashion. It's definitely bodes well to see multiple players that are bets that we're looking to hopefully break the right way early, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be great for the whole season, but it certainly bodes well. So it's been a ton of fun. I mean, especially that second game. That's awesome. Man. Just an amazing thing to watch that happen. So yeah, after everything that the Yankees fans have gone through, from the World Series to losing Juan Soto to Garrett Cole and XYZ, getting off to a good 3-game start like this, I think it is good. It's maybe more important than it would be in a normal season. I think. I mean, just purely in a vibes way, not a statistical way.
It feels nice.
It does feel nice. I think it was much needed to get out to a nice start. And yeah, I'm happy. How are you?
You know, Steve, they're hitting the ball over the fence.
They're doing a lot of that.
So much. They are, as Taylor Jackson would say, mashing the square button.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, guys are getting in on the world famous home runs who I did not expect would be in on them. And by guys, I mean Oswald Peraza. He's the only guy from whom I did not expect this.
Yeah, well, I think everybody else
has 2.
He has 2. Yeah.
Which
I think we were hoping for that, though.
We were hoping for it, but if you had told me that Volpe would homer in both of the first 2 games, I would have been like, I don't know, look, Steve, you're getting kind of crazy with these predictions.
That second one makes me, I mean, I know we already kind of looking at league-wide offense doesn't really show it, but that second one made me feel a little 2019 juice ball feelings in my loins.
It did feel like a, what was it, 91.8?
91.8.
It does not feel like that ball should end up where it ended up.
But he pulled it in the air right down the line.
Yep, and that's what you ought to do.
That's what we want.
As Jazz Chisholm and Jake Bauers both showed us today.
Yeah, right down the line. Yeah.
I miss Jake Bauers, the new Shohei Ohtani.
Hey, man. 2 shutout innings. He's not even kidding. Maybe the best pitcher the Brewers threw out there the last
He's certainly been the most effective.
Yeah. It's kind of shocking, but yeah.
Yeah. Tougher. Imagine you're like Freddie Peralta. You're like, wow, I'm my team's ace. I'm the opening day starter. And it turns out you're less effective than Jake Bauers.
What was Freddie Peralta's final line? I don't think it was that bad, actually, right?
No,
did he give up all 4? He didn't give up all 4, right?
No, he didn't. I would need to see. Let's see.
He actually looked kind of nasty at times. Still.
He is kind of nasty.
Yeah, he is. No, he's a good pitcher. He's a good pitcher. Yeah.
5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, just the 2 solo home runs.
Yeah, he's a good pitcher.
A walk and 8 strikeouts. He's awesome. But you know who has
a 0 ERA?
A 0 ERA?
Yeah. Jake Bauers.
Yeah. Like, I had all last year, or, at the beginning of last year, I had the thing where Clay Holmes went however many appearances without giving up a run, and Josh Hader was like terrible.
Right.
Now Clay Holmes has given up runs, but Jake Bauers has not.
The wheel starts again. The narrative keeps turning.
He does have a 7.2 FIP and a 10.65 xFIP, but we won't talk about that. He pitches to contact.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
I'm telling you, there is somebody that could master the whole 60-mile-per-hour loopers thing, especially if you had different angles and cuts to it. That throwing below hitting speed thing legitimately does mess people up. Nobody's brave enough to do it. No team is brave enough to sign somebody to do it.
It's Casey Fossum. He could do it today, probably.
So you brought that name. Was he actually? I remember Casey Fossum. I remember him being awful. We're going off on a tangent here. But I remember him being awful for the Rays. I remember that. I remember he was like a trademark of those terrible Rays teams in the early 2000s. But I don't remember him throwing like in the 60s.
Wouldn't he throw some like floaters and ephuses in there?
I mean, so did Zach Greinke, but he was
but more so than Zach Greinke.
Okay.
I
don't remember much about how Casey Fossum pitched. I just know he wasn't very good.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. From the, it's great that this exists. From the pitching style section of Casey Fossum's Wikipedia page. Fossum throws 3 different overhand curveballs. The throws in the present tense somehow, even though it appears he has not appeared in a baseball game since he played for the Lancaster Barnstormers of the Atlantic League in 2015.
That's more recent than I thought.
More recent than I thought, too.
Yeah.
That was after 3 years out of baseball. The first curveball is a tight, rotating 1 to 7 curveball that has velocity in the low to mid 70s, but is a pitch that Fossum struggles to throw effectively over the plate for strikes and at times remains too flat. That feels like piling on.
Man, this is really specific for Casey Fossum on Wikipedia. Yeah.
I wonder if he wrote it.
That's what I'm thinking.
The second curveball is also a 1-7 pitch, has moderate break while clocking in between 65 and 70 miles an hour and can effectively be thrown for strikes. The third is a 12-6 curveball with a large break, making it difficult to hit. While the pitch has been a very effective pitch for him to use, often landing for strikes or causing pop-outs, he regulates the pitch as a change of pace pitch to prevent batters from becoming used to it. Fossum dubbed this pitch the Fossum flip, and it is essentially a form of the ephus pitch. He also has a decent fastball in the 88 to 92 mile an hour range and a changeup that, while effective, does not drop as well as the average changeup. Fossum is also a good fielder and has an above average pick-off.
This is unbelievable.
This is incredible.
Fossum flip too is co-opting the Folly floater. If
it is, that's exactly what it was.
Knowers. Yes, yeah.
But the Fossum flip is what I remembered.
That's hilarious. Okay, wow, man, I don't remember anything about his pitching style, but apparently Wikipedia's got all of the info for
Casey Fossum, baby. Everybody, man. if you need a Red Sox, Rays, or Diamondbacks, Tigers, or Mets, anyone, immaculate grid play, give Casey Fossum a try.
That's outstanding.
Steve, the Yankees are so good right now.
Stop the count.
I want to stop the count. I want to make a point, which is at the beginning of last year, the Yankees had a very exciting sweep of a team that had been in the playoffs the year prior, which is exactly what happened this year. But at the beginning of last year, that sweep contained the Yankees doing a bunch of like really dumb and bad stuff and it somehow working.
I remember that.
And they hit like 500 on balls in play. Where do you think the Yankees rank in Major League Baseball in batting average on balls in play right now?
Oh, that's actually a weird question.
It is.
Middle of the pack?
Middle of the pack is right. They're 13th at 275.
Yeah,
so not to suggest that anyone thought this, but their success did not come from the same place their success came from in the Houston series last year, which was somehow the Astros just deciding to be bad at baseball. This is how I wish every game could be like the last few games. Even the first game, just hit the ball out.
Yeah.
It's so good. Why do anything else? They're averaging 5 home runs a game.
It's unbelievable. It's just amazing that all of the I mean, all the narrative. I mean, like Cody Bellinger. If you had told me that he'd be swinging the bat like that, he only has one home run, but it's just every swing he is taking. The bat
Yeah.
speed and the exit velo is so real. Even he had just a fly out that I didn't think much of. And I look back at it, it was like 101. He just had a
Yeah.
crazy launch angle on it. I mean, everybody is just hitting the ball so hard and swinging so hard. It
I
is really
wonder
remarkable right now.
I wonder if there's something to the joke you made about Alex Verdugo being the inflection point.
Hey, probably not. But I
Probably
do
not.
think what Ryan Garcia brought up, though, that it is remarkable that, like, just a year ago, they were seemingly all in on slap contact.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, guys that haven't been swinging the bat as hard or making as hard contact recently are doing it like very well.
Yeah. Guys are
And
taking mighty lashes at the
yes,
ball.
Volpe's doing it. Bellinger's doing it. Goldschmidt was already kind of doing it from last year, but yeah, man, it's fun. Wells, everybody.
So the Yankees have a 231 WRC plus as a team, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
Aaron
if
Judge.
they were to continue it, you may not believe this, but this is actually true, would be a record. But I just want to put in perspective a 231 WRC plus and also the greatness of Barry Bonds.
Yeah, right.
From
Probably not as good as his best season.
not as good as any of his 3 best seasons.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. It's so stupid.
From 2001 to 2002, Barry Bonds had a 239 WRC plus over 1,276 plate appearances
During the steroid era. Yeah.
during the steroid era. We should get into that as well. 2004, Barry Bonds,
My favorite season ever.
he had a 37.6% walk rate.
Oh my God. He had like 120 intentional walks. I mean, like,
a 6.6% strikeout rate, 45 home runs, and a 233 WRC plus. The Yankees have a 231 WRC plus.
unfreaking believable.
Incredible. Yeah, 2004, Barry Bonds had exactly 120 intentional walks and
120, yeah.
232 normal walks.
I mean, just like, I remember just thinking, like, I want to go back and watch what that was like for that many intentional walks. I mean, he was just getting walked.
Yeah.
Just all the time. Think of the best hitter you've ever seen that people pitch around. Doesn't even come close to what Barry Bonds did that season. He did more that season than almost everybody else will do in their entire career.
352 walks in a year.
It boggles the mind.
It really does. Although Aaron Judge, I guess, is going to do that this year if today is any indication.
Well, yeah. It won't happen again in the modern era.
No
one's
won't.
like that.
So we should just talk about the bats. The bats are the elephant in the room.
Yep.
And they're like a pygmy elephant because there's nothing there. They're like a ghost elephant.
Oh, you mean literally the bat? Okay, I thought you more meant the bats, like the offense, but no, you mean literally the torpedo bat. I mean
the torpedo bat, the piece of equipment.
I hate this topic of conversation so much right now. It was a perfect storm of events that the Yankees happened to score these 20 runs, and now this bat thing comes up. Otherwise, they would have been made fun of for these bats if they had gotten off to a slow start. People would say the Yankees are stupid and that Anthony Volpe is so bad they had to try to make a special bat for him, but he can't hit with it anyway. That would have been the topic of conversation. It's
100%, and it's also
entirely legal.
Let me make sure that the StatCast data on Fangraphs is updated, because if it is, this is a relevant point to make. Yes. Okay. So the Yankees have 15 home runs and 124 plate appearances, which is a rate that I recommend they keep up. If these bats were like magic or something, I think the Yankees would be better than 15th in hard hit rate and 4th in barrel rate and 7th in average exit velocity. Like,
right.
Obviously for some guys, they are the way to go. And I think it's funny that it's being treated as like this breakthrough of physics when all they did was put more bat where the bat hits the ball and less bat where the bat doesn't hit the ball.
Yeah, it's remarkably simple.
Which is what they've been trying to do with the normal shape of bats forever.
Right.
But the idea that it's like this incredible hack, I really don't think it is. I think it's just there are certain guys who, swing in such a way that they're more likely to make contact closer to the handle, and they decided to cater to those guys a little bit in the way they build those bats.
It's just the Yankees. That's why it's a story.
Yeah, exactly. Reason. It's not unlike, in golf club design, right, they move the mass around so it's easier to hit the ball in the air, and the club is more forgiving and stuff like that. Like
tennis has
happens
plenty
everywhere.
of things. Like tennis rackets are all kinds of different shapes, sizes, weights, different frames, different whatever. I mean, it's not. This is nonsense, patently, that there's an outrage about this, and it only happened because the Yankees had this historic game. They had a lot of home runs, and that's awesome. And because it's the Yankees, people are going to say things. The only thing that actually bothers me about it, really, because I don't care that idiots are going to be yelling at that's normal. What irritates me is that the average baseball fan hears that, and they're going to internalize that the Yankees just like cheat and use these cheating bets. And it becomes like they'll just, I'll hear people say it. I have no doubt somebody will casually tell me in the next couple of weeks that like, oh, aren't the Yankees cheating with those bats though? Be like, no, no, they're not.
Certainly, nobody on the Red Sox was using them in spring training. Nobody on the Cubs tried them out last year. Nothing like that.
Ryan Jeffers used one in a game today. For the Twins.
He didn't do that, Steve. That's ridiculous. he couldn't have, because only the Yankees are using them, and they're cheating.
And then the other Yankees fans that are like, why'd they let this information get out? Like, what are you talking about?
That's the funniest one. That's the funniest one. I also love AJ Hinch was for some reason asked about these bats.
Oh, I saw this.
His quote was, there was a little bit of conversation around spring training, Tiger. This is from the Chris Kirschner article in The Athletic. There was a little bit of conversation around spring training, Tigers manager AJ Hinch said before his team's game against the Dodgers. I don't really understand it, the bat companies and stuff like that, but it'll get plenty of attention now. The internet has a beautiful way of bringing things to be a big deal. What could manager of the 2017 Astros, AJ Hinch, be talking about when he says the internet has a beautiful way of bringing things to be a big deal? He seems like a guy who's totally over anything that he may have been involved in that got exposed on the internet that led to him losing his job. He's definitely totally fine with whatever that may have been if something like that ever happened.
It's just speaking in generalities, clearly.
Of course.
I mean, there's no specific incident. Yeah, that would no. I mean, I don't think that quotes that. I think it's funny just because it's AJ Hinch. I like it. I like AJ Hinch. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him.
Whoa.
He's fine. He's fine. What do you hate AJ? I don't hate AJ Hinch. I think he's fine.
What are you?
Oh no! Do I gotta leave?
What do you mean you? Why wouldn't you?
I don't hate him.
You don't harbor any ill will towards AJ Hinch?
I guess some. I'm over it, man. I've moved on. That's just a long time ago now. He seems like a decent enough guy. I don't really care.
I think he's a bad dude.
Okay, that's fine.
However, I do feel like I have to give him some credit for being, to the extent that managers matter, which is they don't unless they're facilitating and protecting a cheating scheme. I do think I have to give him some credit for beating the Astros in the playoffs, which I just thought was nice, and someone had to do it. But really, that wasn't AJ Hinch. That was Notre Dame's Matt Vierling. What was the best part of the opening series, Steven?
I mean, how could it not be 3 pitches, 3 home runs, game 2? It's the coolest thing I've seen in a while.
We're probably never going to see that again.
No. Not in my lifetime. No, that's amazing. It's amazing. I did feel kind of bad that it happened off Nestor a little bit.
It couldn't have happened to like any of the hundreds of baseball players I don't like. It had to happen to Nestor Cortez.
No, I did feel kind of bad. Also, it was, I mean, he fits the archetype so much of somebody that it could happen to.
Yeah.
A low velocity lefty that, just hadn't really gotten his stuff together this season and just throws a lot of strikes on a hot day. I mean, the recipe was just there. They know him so well. It was pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. The Bellinger home run, apparently like the
second longest by a left-handed hitter at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
In the Statcast era. Which feels impossible.
Insane. It feels insane. The furthest one was only like 459.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I would have said that Soto hit multiple 460-foot home runs last year.
He didn't. I looked it up. Yeah, he really didn't. I really do think part of it is, like I said before, we have like Judge Stanton brain rot. We're so used to these guys hitting 480-foot bombs. Like that's a normal thing. It's not normal.
They even said, didn't they say on the broadcast today that Judge's first inning home run, which was 468, was something like it was only the 9th longest of his career or
Yeah,
something.
something like that.
Which,
yeah.
like, what a ridiculous player. And there was some discourse on the internet today about Aaron Judge and where he ranks all time among right-handed hitters. And some people came to the defense of a certain Albert Pujols.
I love Albert Pujols.
Who was awesome.
Unbelievable player.
For longer than Aaron Judge has been awesome.
Yep.
Like, let's make that very clear. However, there is this is actually, you know what, Steve? This is not unlike the Mariano Rivera thing, where people can't actually, sorry. I have 2 thoughts that I need to get out about this. The first is, this is not unlike the Mariano Rivera thing in that people sometimes find it hard to square that in the comparison of a player against an all-time great, there can be times in the first player's career in which he surpasses anything the all-time great ever did without being better than the all-time great. Like, Mariano Rivera was not at every moment the greatest out-getter in baseball.
No.
But he was, over the course of his career, the greatest closer we've ever seen.
Yes.
Billy Wagner was better at getting outs at various times. Eric Gagne was better at getting outs at various times. You know, plenty of different guys over small periods.
Yep.
And Aaron Judge from 2022 to today has done something on a league adjusted basis, so accounting for the offensive environment of the time, that Albert Pujols never did, which is post a 204 WRC plus over, you know, close to 1,900 plate appearances.
Yep.
And I do want to point out that by WRC plus, Albert Pujols' best stretch was from 2003 to 2010, where he posted a 173 or 172 WRC plus and 5,400 plate appearances. Aaron Judge in his career has a 174 WRC plus and like 4,300 plate appearances. So, like, you know, that is, make of that whatever you want to make of it. There's then the retort from the Pujols defenders, and it's funny to have to call people Pujols defenders because, like, everyone agrees that he was great. Like, oh, well, look at all his, you know, 4,1100 OPS seasons. Right. And he did do that. He also never eclipsed a 184 WRC plus, which Aaron Judge, as we just established, has done over the course of like 4 years now. So
it's plus stats. People, it's just
plus stats are important. And I think like it's what you have to remember here. There is a reason that we adjust for era, and it is because we would draw ridiculous conclusions otherwise. And my go-to example of this is that Dinelson Lamet has a higher strikeouts per 9 than Randy Johnson or Pedro Martinez. Does anyone think that Randy Johnson and Pedro Martinez are worse at getting guys to strike out than Dinelson Lamet is? Because I don't think that.
Right.
But that is what Albert Pujols had this many seasons of an 1,100 OPS believer would tell you.
Right.
The game is different. The relationship of who has the power between the batter and the pitcher is different. It's different every year. Sometimes it's different in smaller ways. Sometimes it's different in bigger ways. But to ignore that and then draw conclusions based on those things is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Like, I would probably argue that Aaron Judge hitting 62 home runs in 2022 is more impressive than almost any other 60 home run season. Like, Sammy Sosa hit 60 home runs, like 3 times without ever leading the league or whatever it was.
Right.
None of the Sammy Sosa seasons are as impressive as the Aaron Judge season because other people were doing that. Like, it's the idea that you would not adjust for the environment in which these things are being achieved is ridiculous to me. And I don't the only reason you would do it in the context of the Judge Pujols conversation is because you can't just give credit to Aaron Judge for whatever reason, and you have to figure out that because that's your own problem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to add to that, but yeah, I saw that debate taking place, and I mean, it was a very disingenuous. Either said individual did not understand how plus stats worked, or like you said, they were intentionally kind of contriving it for their own narrative ball. But I mean, yeah, that's the whole point. I mean, I think, you know, it was said that like, well, you know, offense was just up. If offense had been down during Pujols' era, well, then he would have had a higher plus stat. I'm like, yeah, but maybe he wouldn't have then, because the offensive environment would have been lower. Pitching would have been better. Whatever it would have been.
Everyone else's offense would have been down,
exactly.
But not his.
Why just him, right? Yeah, that is the whole point as to why these stats exist. So viewing it that way doesn't help. I understand it's easier to look at the raw data sometimes and say, well, Pujols did this. Forget about everybody else. He did this, and Judge did this. I'm like, okay. But looking at it in an era-dependent context gives you more of a view of things. So I don't know. Yeah, it's silly. I think anybody that actually understands statistics knows that's not a real argument, and it's silly, so it doesn't really matter. But it is funny that that's a talking point.
Yeah, another one that people like to go to is like Nolan Ryan is the career leader in fewest hits per 9 allowed. Oh, yeah. And then they say, so it was harder to get a hit off of Nolan Ryan than it was off of anyone else. And it's like, maybe. Yeah, I know. But
he allowed the least hits per 9. That's
how
what it means.
How often were hits happening?
Sure, exactly. Yeah.
Because, like, what if hits were happening a lot more at a different time and someone was allowing very few? Like, this is... Right. The genius of plus stats. Anyway.
Yeah, I have nothing else to add. Yeah.
Baseball just gives us so many, and that is like the thing. It's like all the nerds who love numbers gravitate towards baseball. It gives us so many fair ways to compare players, and then people find extremely unfair ones, and you shouldn't do that.
It's narrative ball, man. You can use legitimate statistics to paint a negative picture or an incomplete picture, a partisan picture of something too. So there are so many ways to
Steve,
spin.
That's only okay when I do it.
Yeah, I know. It's both when we both do it.
Totally, both of us. Yeah.
Don't take the power away from me.
The royal I, which means us both.
The royal we.
As opposed to the royal we, which means just me. I hate that. People, that is actually a pet peeve of mine. When people say the royal we and they just mean we, it's like, no, dude, the royal we means I. Anyway.
I just think of the Big Lebowski anytime I hear the royal we. Anyway, that's an aside.
How many Yankees do you think have a FIP that is negative right now?
2.
It's 3.
3? Okay.
Can you guess who? I think you'll definitely get one of them. The other two, I don't know.
They're all relievers, obviously, right?
They're all relievers.
Yeah. So it's going to be Mark Leiter Jr.
Yep. That was the one that I was confident you would get.
Yeah, because he just pitched. Fernando Cruz walked a guy, right? But is he still...
Fernando Cruz has a 3.7 FIP.
Yeah, because he walked somebody.
Yeah.
Who else was... Tim Hill.
Tim Hill, yep. Yeah. He has a negative 0.29 FIP.
Who else pitched? Gomez. Yoendrys Gomez.
No, Yoendrys Gomez has a 1.21 FIP. He doesn't strike out enough guys.
Okay. Who else? Because not Devin Williams, obviously.
Not Devin Williams.
Who else pitched out of the bullpen that I'm not... Weaver. He didn't pitch, did he? He did pitch.
It's not Luke Weaver because he issued a walk.
He did walk. Who else pitched out of the bullpen? Honestly, what game was it?
Saturday.
I don't know. Tell me. I can't remember.
It's Brent. Is it
Brent
Hedrick?
Yeah, Hedrick. Yeah. I forgot about him. Yeah. If I had to forget one name, that's probably the most understandable one.
2 strikeouts, no walk, 1 inning.
He actually looks pretty good. Yeah. He looked good in the spring too. He
looks fun.
Yeah.
It is funny that like there are multiple guys in the starting rotation. Maybe that's where we should take this. There are multiple guys in the starting rotation who I'll probably be begging not to see by some point possibly in the not too distant future. And yet there are all these guys in the bullpen who are like absolute nobodies. And it's
Awesome.
like, I
There's
love
so
this
much fun.
guy. Yeah.
It's so much fun when you can just take an average dude, but then you just crank the dials all the way up to 10 and you see what you get. You can't do that with a starter. You know,
No.
they have to kind of last out there. So with a reliever, it's like, hey, we like these two things you do, so let's just dial that all the way up.
Only do those ever.
Yeah, and let's see how good it is. Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
It really rules. And that's what I can't wait for about Ryan Yarbrough. Like, Ryan Yarbrough has the potential to be like the silliest guy in baseball and just stupidly effective. Like, after what they've done to Tim Hill.
Yeah. For Tim Hill, not to him.
Yes, for him. And what Tim Hill has done for them and for us all.
Yes. American hero.
American hero, Tim Hill. Here, this is actually a good question. Who leads the Yankees pitchers in Fangraphs WAR?
Gotta be Rodon.
Yeah, I would have thought that too. It's Tim Hill.
It's Tim Hill? Oh, yeah. Well, he did strike out like 3 today in an inning and 2/3 perfect, right? Yeah. God. That's not even like him. That's not his thing either.
Yeah. If there is any stickiness to Tim Hill missing bats, like,
look, he used to strike people out. Like, I know what he's turned into. Go look at his earlier portions of his career. I believe he actually had a season where he had like double-digit Ks per nine. I might be wrong.
Yeah, it was only 18 innings, but he did have a 10 strikeouts per 9 season in 2020.
But he was not like
he was in the 8s.
Yeah, he was a normal pitcher. He was like not a really
from
low
18 to 21, he was an 8 2/3 strikeouts per 9 guy.
Yeah, and then he just stopped.
Wow.
Yeah,
I never knew this about him.
Yeah, he was just a normal pitcher, and then he stopped being a normal pitcher. I think he just started throwing his sinker all the time.
Something I was thinking about earlier today, because the Yankees had faced Nestor, and I had listened to a podcast in which someone kept pejoratively calling him a World Series hero, and
poor Nestor.
Tim Hill had pitched and been awesome. I was thinking about how, and I don't want to rehash Game 1 of the World Series, but I was thinking about how people get so mad at the Yankees for, quote, dumpster diving. And those same people were demanding
Tim Hill
after the fact that a guy who got cut from the worst team of all time be pitching with a World Series game on the line for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's a level of cognitive dissonance that I just cannot imagine, but it is so common. And you know what? It's a credit to the Yankees and it's a credit to Tim Hill, but like, holy cow, man.
Yeah. No, I was saying that at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just, you said it on the nose. It's just Yankees fans. It's what Yankees fans will do. There's no consistency to their takes. There never has been. There never will be.
None whatsoever.
No.
So, Steve, as we move into this series against Arizona, which I think is going to feature the pitching matchup that everybody wants, Will Warren against Corbin Burns, and then hit the road to face the Pirates, beyond the Yankees just continuing to hit the ball a mile, what are we looking for in this series? I think one thing that you've mentioned is the fact that they really haven't faced almost anyone who throws harder than like 92 miles an hour. So maybe performance against high velocity is up there, but what's going to constitute a good week in these next 6 games? Because the sample only continues to expand, over the rest of the season.
Obviously,
so what are you keeping an eye out for beyond just the Yankees, the first place undefeated New York Yankees continuing to win games?
I mean, certainly how real are some of these bats? I want to see Jason Dominguez start to hit. He was like one of the only guys that didn't really play into the firepower of the first 3 games. He did walk a bunch of times.
Yep, which I love. But yeah, Dominguez,
I love that.
Pablo Reyes are the only guys with at least 5 plate appearances who are below average hitters on the Yankees right now.
And look, I'm not one to crap all over small sample defensive issues, but Pablo Reyes at third base, man, that just he did not look comfortable
It
there at
was
all.
extremely tough.
Yeah.
Extremely tough.
And look, Jason Dominguez, one of my hot takes was that he would be a solid defender in left. He didn't make any errors, but he did look weird out there today. Just going to throw it out there.
Quite weird.
It looked uncomfortable multiple times. So I don't know what that means, but that's something to keep an eye on. But I think the biggest thing outside of the narratives with the bats, I want to see Cody Bellinger continue for my personal narratives, but also for the team. Is that real? Goldschmidt, all that. The most important thing, if we're going to say the bats hopefully are going to continue hitting, is Will Warren real? I think that might be the most important thing. Is can he actually be a average arm, a plus arm? To what extent can we lean on him? Do we actually have to live with Carlos Carrasco in the rotation? He didn't look so great in his first relief appearance.
No,
honestly, after watching Stroman again today, like I like Stroman a lot more than I like Carlos Carrasco. I got to be honest. And I don't like watching Stroman.
The only saving grace for Carrasco would be as if he can recapture some of the bat missing that he was doing in spring training. Other than that,
I feel like it might have just been fluky.
I think it probably was.
Yeah, I mean, he would. Yeah, there's no way to know on that, but he doesn't throw hard. This whole narrative that he came into camp with extra velocity, I don't know how that's been brainwashed into people. It's not real. It hasn't
just
been real.
Garrett Cole said it.
I'm not even kidding. I think that's the whole reason. Because if you look it up, he's not
doing that.
I think he averaged like around 91 in spring, and he averaged around 91 last year. Yeah. I mean, I don't know where this narrative came about that he came in with extra velo. I think when Cashman made the comment about how because their rotation was so full that a lot of the fringe guys that were looking for deals wouldn't sign on, that's how they ended up with Carrasco, meaning that like really every other team passed on Carrasco. I mean, I don't know. I really hope there's somebody else they can maybe just plug in there at some point. I don't know where that would come from, but it does make Will Warren pitching more important. So I'm back to that point. I think Will Warren doesn't need to outpitch Corbin Burns, but he needs to show some good stuff against a pretty good offense.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting thrown into the fire, really. This is the Diamondbacks, albeit they lack Jock Peterson, but they, supplemented with Josh Naylor. They scored the most runs in baseball last year.
They did.
They have been off to a pretty solid offensive start. Right. They have 4 guys with a WRC plus of at least 295 at the moment, which is, I love the beginning.
Who did they play again? Who were they playing? Their first series?
The Cubs, didn't they? Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, because there was that Dansby Swanson fake throw, tag out Garrett Hampson.
That's right.
And yeah, they're just continuing their ways from last year of just scoring a bunch of runs. And that certainly constitutes a challenge. They're not on the Yankees level of 12 runs per game, but they're almost at 7. They've scored 27 runs in 4 games. And yeah, there are just a lot of good hitters in that lineup. Eugenio Suarez is terrific. Weirdly, Ketel Marte is obviously awesome.
Yeah, Ketel's great. Yeah.
If Corbin Carroll is Corbin Carroll, like that could really be something. Eugenio Suarez has as many home runs as Aaron Judge.
Man, I saw he hit 2 the first game or something. Yeah, he had a 2 home run game. Wow.
So
I love Suarez. I've always loved it, Eugenio.
I do too. And the Diamondbacks don't swing and miss a ton. So it'll be very interesting to see if Will Warren can convince them to do so. That would be a great sign.
I'm trying to think of how right-handed they're. Obviously, Suarez is right-handed. Ketel's switchy. Corbin Carroll's a lefty. Josh Naylor's a lefty.
Yeah, not a ton of righties there. So it'll be a real test.
Yeah, that's gonna. He'd have to lean on that changeup he was working on in spring. He's gonna need it.
Yeah.
On the positive end, our bullpen is pretty deep and strong right now. That is the one that's a really, really positive thing right now. I mean, we didn't talk much about Mark Leiter Jr. I know his name popped up.
Oh
my
gosh.
God, he looks like I don't want to say a whole different pitcher. He just looks like last year's Mark Leiter
He looks
cranked
like
up
the guy they
to
thought
10.
they were getting and then improved. Yeah.
Yes, and it's just unbelievable. I mean, he's regularly throwing like he was averaging, I think, 94 on his sinker today.
Yeah.
This is a guy who was in the low 90s last year.
He was like barely throwing four seamers 94.
Yeah. I mean, so that's huge to get the velo separation on his splitter and his curve and everything else. I mean, it's he looked like dominant. I mean, like not just that he had this splitter trick pitch to get swings on, like he looked like he had a full arsenal.
Like true demon stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome stuff. I love it.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the number change.
I don't know. Maybe just Luke Weaver transferred his energy to someone else.
Exactly. Yeah. And Luke Weaver is the new 2024 Mark Leiter, and
oh god,
vice versa.
So sad. I hope Luke gets his velo back.
Yeah, I'm worried about that.
Me too.
The
results were fine, but
the results were fine.
Yeah.
Aside from starting pitching, because that's the obvious answer, what one thing are you most worried about?
I mean, I'm worried about Luke Weaver, but I'm not really worried about the bullpen right now. The bullpen does have good options, but I am worried about him individually. I don't know there will be things that pop up. I think the rotation is on my mind. The number one thing it
Definitely.
will be. Yeah, that's going to be the number one thing.
I wish it wasn't.
I think third base still really like, I don't want Waldo playing every game at third base. I don't believe in Pablo Reyes as a regular third baseman.
They're going to get a third baseman, right? It might be in July, but they're going to
they will, but it sucks that we don't have one right now. And that's not an indictment on, I'm not saying that they should have one and there's all these people they passed up on. It just sucks that they don't have one. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I wish they did have one. I wish there was an obvious candidate they could have gotten this offseason that made sense in every way, and it didn't. So they don't. But
yeah, I mean, the only one that even hardly comes to mind is if they had gotten India and put him at second.
I didn't hate that idea.
That's a stretch too, even.
I would have liked. I wouldn't have minded that. But
I wouldn't have minded it. But like, if it's like we were talking about with various things over the offseason, like
right.
You're mad about the offseason, but you can't point to a move that the Yankees obviously should have made. Like,
sure.
Like
there wasn't an obvious
that's
one.
my best example of a guy who I would have, thought it would be nice to have.
He moved kind of early too, right? I think he was traded early in the offseason. I don't even remember what the return was, so who knows what that would have looked like from the Yankees system, which is already minimal because he was traded, right? That's from the Reds. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, what was a notable player who went back to the Reds? I forget who it was, but it was somebody somewhat significant. I'd have to look it up, but I think it was something notable.
It was Brady Singer.
Oh yeah, Brady Singer. Good. Yeah. We had no comp for. I mean,
no.
Unless they were going to take Stroman then, which is not a comp for Brady Singer. So
we could have gotten Jonathan India and not gotten Devin Williams. That's right. the Brady Singer we had to trade.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, we would have traded Nestor Cortez. And I don't think that even would have been
maybe not
really. Yeah. So
how about the Royals also getting Joey Wiemer in that trade?
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That's fun.
Remember
Joey?
He was in the
he was on the Brewers at one point. That's really why I remember Joey Wiemer.
Yeah, it's where he came up. He was in the game in which the Yankees got no hit and won.
Oh, wow. I do remember that game.
Yeah.
That's fun.
They obviously didn't ultimately get no hit.
Yeah, I remember what game you're talking about, though. Yeah.
You cannot imagine how badly I wanted them to win without getting a hit. Because once it went to extra innings, it was possible.
It was possible, yeah. Has that happened in a major league game? It has, right? I know it's happened in the minor leagues.
Yes.
It has happened in a major league game?
It's happened in a major league game as a result of these extra inning rules, but there are absolutely teams that have had zero hits and won. Yeah,
that must have. Yeah, I guess I'm more so mean from the.
I don't know that it's happened because of the extra innings rule.
You'd think it would have by now. I know for sure it happened. It happens in the minor leagues weirdly, like not often, but it has happened many times in the minor.
That's funny. Whipple and I were at a AA game one time, and I think it was the Trenton Thunder were involved, and I don't remember if they were throwing the no-hitter or getting no-hit, but in the 8th inning, someone laid down a bunt, and there was like a bench clearing incident, which is just ridiculous for so many reasons.
Love Love it.
All right, Steve. Just anything else you want to cover from these first 3 games? They were glorious. There's not much more to say. The Yankees hit the ball over the fence a ton. Austin Wells looks awesome. Paul Goldschmidt looks awesome. Ben Rice looks awesome. Aaron Judge looks awesome. Anthony Volpe looks awesome. Jazz Chisholm looks as awesome as anyone, probably.
Jazz looks awesome. We can talk a little bit about Carlos Rodon. We didn't really get on him too much.
We should talk about Chuck.
Because I had a whole thing about that I don't think people disagreed with, but it was an interesting take. It's one that we actually had discussed, I think, on the last podcast, which is what generated the thought, but that he has this big time expanded pitch repertoire now that he's throwing like 6 different pitches. I think he only threw 1 cutter, which really made it look like a whole broader array of pitches than it really is.
And it sounds like he said the cutter was really a sinker.
Oh, is that what he said?
I think I saw a claim.
I mean, he threw cutters last year, so it's not like it's out of the realm.
I think I saw a claim that there was the pitch he threw once was really just incorrectly registered.
Another sinker. It's possible, yeah, because his cutter last year was getting pissed on. It was not a good pitch. So,
and it looks like Statcast has reclassified what it thought was a cutter.
Okay, well, either way, five pitch. I mean, the fact that he's throwing sinkers, he didn't even throw sinkers in spring.
Nope.
I was not expecting him to come out throwing sinkers. So it's a weird sinker. Ryan Garcia got all about it. The vertical drop on it is Zach Britton-esque.
It's a Zach Britton sinker.
Yeah, which is crazy. But and he pitched great. I'm super optimistic about everything that he's doing right now. But fans have been, I think, clamoring for him to throw more pitches. And from the standpoint of that things weren't working and you wanted him to change, I absolutely get it. But there are some fans that I think were like, yeah, well, you can't succeed throwing 2 pitches. You have to throw more pitches. That's kind of been the mindset. It's like, well,
let me tell you a little story about 22 Carlos Rodon.
Exactly. The pitcher that you signed, that you were excited to have, the one who dominated, that led to this contract, threw over 90% four-seam and slider. That is how he was insanely good, posted like a 2.4 FIP over the course of 2 seasons.
In 2022, Carlos Rodon threw 1,800 four-seamers, 900 sliders, and
like 50 curveballs.
It was 171 curveballs, 59 changeups, and 9 sinkers.
Oh, he actually had the sinker even then. I didn't know that. I know when he first came up, he threw sinkers. That was like his initial pitch. He threw sinkers.
Yeah, he didn't throw any sinkers in. He basically stopped throwing the sinker in 2019. Didn't throw any, but didn't really play much baseball in 2020. Didn't throw any in 2021. Threw 9 in 2022. None in 2023. None in 2024. Wow. And then 11 yesterday. So like his 11 sinkers, in his first start, opening day, are more sinkers than he's thrown in any season since 2018.
Wow. Yeah, and that's awesome to see. And I think that was necessary. I mean, I think that's good for him to do that. But I mean, he only has to do that because the pitcher that the Yankees signed, this 2-pitch demon who has crazy high spin four seams and buzzsaw sliders, doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
He did this out of necessity. Now, I mean, as you get older, it's good to have more pitches. Even if he could do those 2 things and still do them well, yeah, ostensibly it's better if you can throw more pitches. That's great, right? I would never discount that. But he didn't just do it because I just want to make my good self even better. He did it because what he had wasn't working and he had to change. And I think it's going to work and it looks great. And I'm optimistic about Rodon. But it is still concerning to me that he never really was able to pitch like he pitched before the Yankees got him. That never worked for the Yankees.
Do you think it was, I mean, I guess we have no idea what it was, but I'm inclined to believe that it has to have something to do with health because
I don't know.
He had the back stuff in between pitching for the Giants and ever throwing a pitch for the Yankees. And I don't know. The injury stuff is weird. He has a weird injury history. He's reinvented himself as a pitcher before, as you just alluded to.
Right.
But I agree with you. It is a little bit unsettling that there is this resignation of himself and the Yankees to the fact that, like, this guy that we signed cannot still pitch in the mold that we acquired him to pitch in. But
yeah. I think that's
as
like
long
when
as
you
he
were
finds a way to
saying,
be effective.
yeah, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
But like when you said the other day that like, I still believe that that pitcher who's almost throws 13 Ks per nine is in there. I'm like, well, we have no idea because he's not pitching the same way. Like, I mean, this
Yeah.
is a whole different kind of pitcher now. So who knows if that's still in there?
And as I said, I was talking about that just from the strikeouts and walks
I get it.
perspective.
I get it. But
And that's what he's now done for like basically 2 seasons from a strike, or not quite as much last year, but like
no.
in his last 33 starts, he is a, what is it, like 10.08 strikeouts per nine and 3 walks per nine guy.
Yeah.
Like that looks a lot more similar to 21 and 22 than it does to 23, even if it was achieved in a different way.
Yeah, no, I still get it. And
Yeah.
I'm optimistic about Rodon. And it's kind of semantics at a certain point. But yeah, it concerns me because we don't have a huge track record for him now of success doing this.
No, we don't.
So we're kind of in uncharted territory with him. And yeah, the first start was great. I love mentally it makes sense for fans that throw more pitches. That's good. It's like, yeah, I hope it is. I want him to do it. I was clamoring for him to throw the changeup more, everything like that. So I hope it works. I'm a fan.
Just in the spirit of appreciating things, Carlos Rodon, since his last start in June, which was 5 innings at Toronto, which actually did not go well. He gave up a ton of runs, but he struck out a bunch of guys. 11.6 strikeouts per nine, 3.34 walks per nine, 3.93 ERA, 3.6 xFIP. Carlos Rodon with good home run per fly ball luck could be really good. That's all I'm saying.
It's going to be, and that is a huge reason why that sinker, if he actually sticks with that, could be huge for him. Even just throwing the changeup more, I think it makes everything better when he throws the changeup more. So, yeah, there's all, yeah, I'm hopeful. I do also wish he could do those things and still have the fastball that had like 25 run value on it in 2022.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the run value on his 4-seam fastball since he became a Yankee. That pitch gets shelled.
Please don't look at that, everyone, if you want to be happy. Even
though the velocity is the same, the spin looks the same. Like, what the hell happened? I don't know. But it gets shelled now. It didn't used to.
Yeah.
That's as simple as that. It's interesting.
But anyway, I hope he keeps up how he looked the other day.
He looked great. Yeah, no, he looked
guy
great.
For him to be.
I am very optimistic about what he'll do this season. I think more optimistic, really seeing him incorporate that sinker and everything.
Yeah.
And the velo was there. It wasn't in spring. That's something I had talked about last episode. So it did show up. So that's cool. I hope that happens for everybody. And yeah, I'm optimistic. I'm still optimistic about Max Fried too, even though things were a little weird.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he actually looked great too. I think stuff wise, the command was all over the place, but I don't think you're really worried about command with Max Fried.
No, Max Fried is 100% a benefit of the doubt guy for me.
Yeah, he got up to 98 miles an hour. I didn't know he could do that. I
did not think he could do that at all.
No. I know he could get up to like 96 range. I knew he could like throw hard. I knew he was not a soft tosser necessarily, but yeah, he was like his velocity separation. He was like down to like 91 all the way up to 98. He would just kind of change as needed. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I like him a lot.
I think he's going to be like outrageous fun.
I think he will be. Just don't make five errors behind him.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen again. He also gets to face the Pirates on Friday, which...
Why are they not... I didn't really look into this. Why are they not starting him against the Diamondbacks in Carrasco's spot? Is it just to get Carrasco in there? I don't really understand.
It's a good question.
Because it matches up perfectly fine, right? Maybe they just want to, I don't know.
Well,
out of the gate, give him more time.
Does it match up perfectly fine?
Doesn't it?
Because
they have an off day tomorrow. He pitched the day before. It'd be 4 days in between. It'd be perfect.
But are they trying to... They use the second off day to get Rodon an extra day. Rodon and Fried pitched a day apart. Are they trying to maintain
it might
that?
Just be,
I
yeah,
guess?
it might just be to keep that equal for both parties. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Still, though, it's like if you have an opportunity to skip freaking Carlos Carrasco and go to Max Fried, like I know it's early in the season, man, but come on.
I would do it too.
Come on. Schmidt will be back, and maybe we can just pretend like Carlos Carrasco never existed.
That would be nice. It also, the way they're doing it potentially sets up Carlos Carrasco against Derek Skubal a week from Tuesday, which is the matchup we've all been clamoring to see.
Sometimes when you go up against another team's ace, it's just like maybe we do just sacrifice
Pack
that
it
game.
in.
Just just throw the worst pitcher out there. You don't want to burn Max Fried against Skubal, right? That sucks.
And we're not going to see Paul Skeens, unfortunately, fortunately.
I'm happy about that. I can just go watch him on my own time. The next time he pitches, I don't have to see him decimate the Yankees.
We're scheduled to get Will Warren and Andrew Heaney a week from today, which is something.
Love it.
It's Heen Dog Bump Day.
I'm about it.
Well, Steve, it's time for us to rate our confidence in the undefeated, division leading, home run hitting, torpedo bat using, league angering New York Yankees out of 10. Knowing that we saw probably the best we will see from them all year in this series.
I mean, that's not even a dig. That's just no team is going to top that second game this year, really, realistically. So, yeah. I don't know. Out of 10, I mean, it feels goofy to go up after 3 games, but I will. I was at 7.9. Let's go up firmly to an 8. Let's just sit at an 8. I love my Cody Bellinger narratives are looking great right now.
As are Whipple's Jazz Chisholm narratives.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's just 3 games. Man, it's just, I got to remind myself that. But the early returns are nice, and I would rather them be nice than not nice.
Yeah.
So I think that is worthy of a 0.1 increase. So 8 out of 10. And
I will join you. Fangraphs still projects the Yankees as the number 1 team in the American League East.
Well, certainly.
That's enough.
It'd be funny if it went down.
It would be funny. The Bat X projection system has the 85 win Red Sox winning the AL East, and we're not friends anymore.
That's the most flawed. It's a fun project because that's one that's using all the StatCast data, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the batted ball stuff.
I used to love Gary Sanchez, and I believe it. Yeah. Anyway, Steve, any parting shots from you before we wrap up this first regular season episode of the Yankees Files podcast with Full-Time Steve?
No, I mean, it was
Full-Time Steve.
It was fun watching future MVP Cody Bellinger play the first 3 games. It really did. He had a great play in center field too. Early on with Stroman.
Yeah.
I don't think Judge makes that play last year, frankly.
It was funny. I was thinking the same thing. I was trying to think of the last time I saw a Yankee make a really good play going back on a ball in the outfield.
Harrison Bader.
Because Judge didn't do it. Soto obviously didn't do it.
By Bader.
Yeah, it's probably Bader. Although I guess Verdugo had that catch where he ran into the wall.
Yeah. Verdugo was okay.
Yeah.
But who's Prime Hicks?
Prime Hicks. Yeah. I think Bader is probably the right one, but there wasn't a specific catch that stuck out.
No, he kind of sucked when he was on the team, so it's hard to remember a lot of.
And moments. I really didn't like him, which was
I didn't like him either. Not as a person, but just as a baseball player.
He might be a fine dude.
Got some goofy shirts. Yeah.
Yep.
Anything else though? No, I don't know. I'm excited for Will Warren. I want to see how he does.
I'll be there.
Oh, really? Nice. Very nice. But I hope it was really nice that the weather has been good. I know that's a weird thing, but even just knowing in New York, I'm not in New York, but that it's going to be warm. Really nice change of pace.
Beautiful on Saturday.
Yeah, it's been beautiful here too. I mean, it's just been fantastic weather. It feels like a very different season right now. It's going to get cold again, and it's going to kind of be descending on us again. That we're only in April, so that's going to kind of suck. But I hope it doesn't stifle the bats. I think it has no small part to play in offensive outburst.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps.
Yeah, definitely. It didn't help the Brewers, I guess, but
they scored 9 runs. That
was error influenced.
They did score 4 runs that one inning with only 1 ball getting out of the infield.
They didn't do anything. They hit some home runs though. Yeah,
they did. And you know what? Good for Jake Bauers.
Jake Bauers hit one. I think Bryce Terang hit one. Actually, did they hit any other ones? I don't remember now.
Vinny Capra had one on opening day.
Yeah, Vinny Capra. Right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, but no other parting shots. Great start to the season. Couldn't ask for really anything more after everything that Yankees fans have suffered through. So yeah, good start.
And the Red Sox are 1-3.
Devers, man, Devers. It's not going to last. Look, Devers is going to be good this season. I know this is not Red Sox Files, but I hate to be the Yankees Files voice for them, but he's going to be fine, you idiot Red Sox fans. Just let him play. He's going to be fine eventually. It's just really funny right now.
He is going to be fine, but right now he has a negative 84 WRC plus and a 76 point. Oh, sorry. It actually changed today.
He has
twice. A negative 68 WRC plus and a 66.7% strikeout rate.
It's so bad. Yeah, it's really bad. He broke some strikeout record, right? I forget what it was.
He did,
but
yeah,
he did
like
something.
12 strikeouts in his first 16 plate appearances or something. Yeah,
it's bad. He's going to be fine. But I'm enjoying it right now.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
Well, people can keep up with us at yankeesfiles.com. You can keep up with us on Twitter, where we're at Yankees Files. The podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts, with the added bonus of video if you're listening on Spotify. The full video podcast also goes up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@crosstownsports. So you can watch that there. If you like the podcast, we hope you rate, review, subscribe, download, listen to it a bunch of times, do all that stuff to boost our numbers. If you don't like the podcast, we hope you only listen to it and don't do anything negative. We will be back same time, same place next week to recap the series against the Diamondbacks and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Until then, let's go Yankees.